Have you ever wondered what a giant squid and the black samurai have in common? If you haven't, you probably are now. Well, in this episode, you will get your answer. But first, who is this black samurai? Well, imagine a towering black-skinned man standing at attention in a Japanese castle, clad in the garb of a samurai warrior. To the Japanese people of the late 16th century, such a sight was unthinkable. Yet, this was the reality of Yasuke, the legendary black samurai. Born in Mozambique and sold into slavery, Yasuke was brought to Japan and served as a loyal companion and bodyguard to the powerful daimyo Oda Nobunaga. But what set Yasuke apart wasn't just his exotic origins or impressive fighting skills. It was the incredible feat of strength he performed for Nobunaga that cemented his place in Japanese history. As the story goes, Yasuke once lifted a heavy jar of sake, a feat that even the strongest samurai in Nobunaga's court could not match. Impressed by his strength and loyalty, Nobunaga made Yasuke a samurai, breaking centuries of tradition and sparking a cultural exchange that would captivate the imagination of generations to come. Before we get to the story, I prepared some questions to test your existing knowledge of our protagonist. The first question is, what was Yasuke's role in Japan in the 16th century? Was it a shogun, B, a samurai, C, an emperor, or D, a warlord? The second question is, how did Yasuke come to Japan? Is it A, as a missionary, B, as a trader, C, as a slave, or D, as a soldier? The next question is, what was Yasuke's nickname among the Japanese people? The options are A, Black Knight, B, Dark Samurai, C, African Hercules, or D, Samurai of the Dark. And the last question is, what is one of the theories about what happened to Yasuke after Oda Nobunaga's death? Did he return to Africa and become a king? B, join the Tokugawa shogunate as a general? C, get captured and executed by Oda Nobunaga's enemies? Or D, retire from samurai life and become a monk? If you got no clue what the answers are, do not worry, as by the end of this episode, you will be able to answer them all. One last thing before we get into the story. I just wanted to provide a little bit of context about 16th century Japan, so you can get a better appreciation for the story. The 16th century was a time of great chaos and upheaval in Japan. It was a time when powerful lords, known as daimyos, waged bloody wars to expand their territories and cement their power. And at the heart of these battles were the samurai, the fierce warriors who lived and died by the strict code of Bushido. Samurai culture was a unique blend of honor, courage, and loyalty, and it emphasized the importance of martial prowess and discipline. These elite warriors were skilled in the art of swordsmanship and trained relentlessly to perfect their craft. They were feared and respected throughout Japan, and their influence only grew as the daimyos continued to engage in bitter struggles for power. As Japan continued to be rocked by political and social upheaval, the samurai became increasingly important players in the country's power struggles. They fought fiercely in battles and skirmishes, often sacrificing their lives for their lords and their causes. And as the power of the daimyos grew, so too did the importance of the samurai class, with many samurai rising to positions of great influence and authority in the courts of their lords. With that, let's get right into the story. So gather around, for I have a story to tell. It is a tale of adventure and bravery, of heroes and villains, of triumph and tragedy. It is a story that has been passed down through the ages, whispered in hushed tones around campfires, and retold in countless languages and cultures. And today I am honored to share it with you. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be transported to a world of wonder and excitement as we embark on this journey together. Let me tell you the tale of Yasuke, the Black Samurai. Yasuke was born in the land of Mozambique, a land of sun and sand, where the sea meets the shore in a symphony of waves. He was said to be tall and strong, with skin as dark as the ebony trees that grew in the forest. But little is known of Yasuke's early life in Africa, for he was destined to journey far from his homeland. One day, Jesuit missionaries came to Mozambique, preaching the gospel of the one true God. Among them was Alessandro Valignano, a powerful and influential figure in the Catholic Church. Valignano saw something special in Yasuke and decided to take him as his own, making him a slave and bringing him on his journey to the far-off land of Japan. When they arrived in Japan, Yasuke caused a stir. The Japanese had never seen a man with skin as dark as his, and many thought he was painted. But Yasuke was no mere curiosity. He was a man of strength and skill, a warrior in his own right. It wasn't long before his talents caught the attention of the powerful daimyo, Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga was fascinated by the color of Yasuke's skin, which he initially believed to be covered in black paint, so much so that the daimyo ordered Yasuke to be washed, but his skin color remained unchanged. Nobunaga was a fierce and ambitious warlord, with dreams of unifying Japan under his rule. He was intrigued by Yasuke and impressed by his size and strength. He saw in Yasuke a potential ally, a man who could help him in his quest for power. And so, he invited Yasuke to join him as a samurai. As Yasuke settled into life as a samurai under the great warlord Oda Nobunaga, he found himself in a new role as a bodyguard. He stood tall and imposing, his skin the color of the midnight sky, a sight that often caught the attention of those around him. But Yasuke was more than just a novelty. He was a fierce warrior with impressive physical abilities. Standing at over 6 feet tall and built like a mountain, Yasuke was a commanding presence on the battlefield. His muscles rippled as he moved, and his quick reflexes allowed him to dodge attacks that would have struck down other men. He was also skilled in the use of weapons, wielding swords and spears with a grace and ease that belied his immense size. But Yasuke's fighting skills were put to the test during the many battles and conflicts that arose during his time with Oda Nobunaga. One of the most notable was the siege of Ishiyama Honganji, where Yasuke fought alongside his fellow samurai against the rebellious Iki monks. The siege went something like this. The drums of war echoed throughout the land as Oda Nobunaga, accompanied by his trusted samurai Yasuke, marched towards the fortress of Ishiyama Hongan-ji. The fortress was held by the Iki, a group of warrior monks who were known for their fierce resistance against any who dared to challenge their power. As they approached the fortress, Nobunaga ordered his troops to prepare for battle. The Iki, however, were not afraid, and they met the approaching army with a barrage of arrows and gunfire. The sound of weapons clashing against each other filled the air, and the cries of the wounded and dying could be heard for miles around. Yasuke fought valiantly by Nobunaga's side, his impressive physique and fighting skills on full display. As he took down enemy after enemy, he moved with an otherworldly grace, his sword cutting through the air like a bolt of lightning as he dodged the attacks of his opponents. As the battle raged on, the Iki refused to back down, and the siege became a brutal and bloody affair. For months, the two sides clashed, each refusing to give an inch. The siege took a heavy toll on both the attackers and defenders, with casualties mounting on both sides. Finally, after months of fighting, the fortress was breached, and the Iki were defeated. Yasuke, covered in the blood of his enemies, emerged victorious, his legend growing with each passing battle. The siege of Ishiyama Hongan-ji was a turning point in Yasuke's life, cementing his place as a trusted and respected samurai in the eyes of Oda Nobunaga and his peers. It was a testament to his skill, his bravery, and his unwavering loyalty to his lord, and it is still remembered to this day as one of the greatest battles in Japanese history. Yasuke had proven himself a fierce warrior, a skilled samurai, and a loyal bodyguard to Oda Nobunaga, but his fate was forever intertwined with that of his master. Together, they had battled through countless battles, leading the Oda clan to dominance in Japan. Yasuke had become a respected member of Nobunaga's court, with his exceptional fighting skills and loyalty to the clan, earning him the respect of many. However, tragedy struck in 1582 when Nobunaga was betrayed by one of his own generals and committed seppuku, ritual suicide. As Yasuke's time with Oda Nobunaga came to an end, his fate became uncertain. Some believe that he returned to Africa, while others insist that he remained in Japan as a samurai. One legend states that Yasuke became a ronin, a samurai without a master. After Nobunaga's death, he allegedly continued to serve in other daimyo's armies, using his incredible fighting skills to aid in battles across Japan. According to this tale, he eventually retired to a life of solitude, living out his days in obscurity. Others believe that Yasuke's time in Japan was cut short by his own death. There are a few different theories about how and when he died, but the most widely accepted story is that he was captured by enemy forces after Nobunaga's death and was either executed or sold into slavery once again. Despite the many theories and legends surrounding Yasuke's fate, one thing is certain. His legacy as the first African samurai in Japan lives on. His story continues to inspire people around the world, reminding us of the power of perseverance and the importance of embracing diversity. And that is the end of Yasuke's story. Or at least this is the end of Yasuke's known story. Although Yasuke's story was short, it was profound. Yasuke's story is not only captivating, but also has great historical significance. He was not only a foreigner who rose to the rank of samurai, but also represents a crucial moment in Japan's history. Yasuke's arrival in Japan marked a time of significant change and transition as the country moved towards modernization. Yasuke's story has inspired numerous cultural and literary references, both in Japan and beyond. In Japan, he is a popular figure in historical novels, manga, and anime, often portrayed as a loyal and powerful warrior. Yasuke has also been referenced in Western popular culture, including in films such as The Last Samurai and the television series Black Samurai. Beyond its entertainment value, Yasuke's story offers valuable insights into cultural exchange, race, and identity in history. Yasuke's rise to the rank of samurai challenges traditional notions of what it means to be Japanese and challenges the notion that samurai were exclusively of Japanese descent. His story illustrates the complexity of identity and the fluidity of cultural exchange in history. In conclusion, Yasuke's story is not only a fascinating tale of a foreigner rising to become a samurai, but also a significant moment in Japan's history. His legacy is felt not only in Japan, but also in popular culture and offers valuable insights into cultural exchange, race, and identity in history. And as this episode comes to an end, let's just quickly recap what we discussed. In this episode, we explored the incredible story of Yasuke, the first recorded foreign samurai in Japan. We discussed his early life in Africa, his journey to Japan as a slave of Jesuit missionaries, and his rise to become a trusted bodyguard and samurai of Oda Nobunaga. We also touched on the uncertainty surrounding his fate after Nobunaga's death, and some of the theories and legends that have emerged about his life after that point. Before we end the episode, do you remember the question I asked you at the beginning of the episode? If you don't, here it is. Have you ever wondered what a giant squid and the black samurai have in common? As promised, here is the answer. At first glance, it may seem like there's no connection between these two seemingly disparate subjects. But did you know that during Yasuke's time in Japan, there were rumors of a terrifying sea monster lurking in the waters off the coast, known as the Tatsumaki? This creature was said to be a giant squid with eyes as big as wagon wheels and tentacles as thick as tree trunks. While there's no evidence that Yasuke ever encountered the Tatsumaki himself, the legend of this mysterious creature provides a glimpse into the world of folklore and mythology that was so important to the people of Japan during this time period. So, while the Black Samurai and the giant squid may seem like an unlikely pair, they both represent the rich and fascinating history of Japan and the incredible stories that continue to captivate us to this day. Before we leave, I just wanted to thank you all for joining us on this adventure. Thank you for your time and attention. If you enjoyed the episode, please like it and share it with your friends and family. Best of luck, and I hope you have a wonderful day.